my job when I got out, when I came home was it's at the Secretary of Defense's level. I told you earlier, the Army was sending me to school to learn to counteract the Whiz kids. Well, guess what? When I came back, the Army sent me to be a Whiz kid. I was sent up to the Secretary of the General Staff, Alan N. Tobin's organization, which was called Systems Analysis, and that's where all the Whiz kids were. And they had a representative of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, all four of us, and we were sort of the other end of the teeter-totter. We were supposed to balance some of these smart young men that were the, quote, whiz kids. And as I tell people, I'm never a whiz or a kid, but I was in that organization. And it was an experience. They wouldn't let me work on anything Army. And I had, because they knew I had to go back to the Army. See, that was, and you had to be sitting there making decisions that could be against the Army, what the Army wanted, as opposed. One of the things I was involved with, because I was involved with the Navy and the Air Force. The Navy wanted to build another nuclear submarine. Well, there's only so many capital ships. That was by law. And so the Navy, I asked why there was, I can't remember now, I think 13 capital ships or whatever the number was. I asked, why is that number 13? It took quite a while for them to figure out the answer. And it really was very simple. It had gone back to the League of Nations, partly in 1920 something, when they parlayed out to the various World War I winners the number of capital ships, i.e. called battleships, numbers of ships that each country would have. And that's where this number came from. Well, that was just, now, I learned to ask that question because when I was going to Michigan, one of the professors said, this was in statistics class, I want to know what you want to, not what the results are, I want to know what the assumptions are. And so I was asking this assumption, why is there X number of capital ships? It was a simple question. I didn't know I was creating a challenge. I mean, it turned out to be exactly what I was saying. It was a strange phenomenon for them to try to figure out why there was that number. I don't know what the world is now, but I can tell you at that point, this was in 1968, I guess. That was a question that took a while to answer. By the way, I don't know how many capital ships we have. I don't know what they're called today, but we have a lot more than I think we had back in those days.